Hi, this is Roman Licheri reporting for Hypertext, and in front of me today is the Samsung Galaxy A51 or A51, depending on what your preference is in terms of naming conventions. But the A51 is one of two mid-range smartphones that Samsung recently brought to South Africa. They held a media event earlier this week where they showcased the A51, the A71, and the Galaxy Note 10 Lite. So we're going to be doing an unboxing of the Galaxy A51 today and kind of see what's included in the packaging, what additional extras that Samsung is going to be providing consumers. Just for a bit more context, the device along with the A71 and the Galaxy Note 10 Lite are expected to be available for purchase in South Africa in the early weeks of February. There isn't a precise date mentioned at this stage, but we believe it to be around about the 11th of Feb, which is when Samsung are holding a Galaxy Unpacked event where we should be seeing a new Galaxy S device and potentially as well a foldable device. So back to the A51. As we mentioned, this is one of two mid-range devices that Samsung are bringing into the country. The A51 is the less suspect of the two, but it's still got some really eye-catching components. So let's open it up. Let's first break the seal. All right. Packaging here. There we go. So this is the A51. Let's power it up. Cool. It's got some battery there. Let's have a look. So this color option is, as far as I understand, is the only one that Samsung are looking to bring in the country specifically for the A51. And they're calling it Prism Crush Black. So, yeah, as you can see, it's quite eye-catching. The Galaxy Note 10 also has a similar design in terms of a very reflective surface for the back cover. And as you can notice over there are 4 lenses on the back. So, just in terms of what we have on offer here, the A51 has got a 48 megapixel main camera. There's then a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, a 5 megapixel macro lens, and as well as a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. So in terms of lens and camera setup, it's definitely above par when it comes to other mid-range devices. So it should be interesting to see just how well that performs. Up front, we've got a, let's hit it back a bit here. There we go. So we've got a 6.5 inch full HD. So that's 2400 by 1080 resolution for the screen. And it's got something that Samsung is calling the Infinity O display. So as you can see, there's a little notch over there, a punch hole, which is where the front-facing camera sits. And on that front, Samsung have gone for a 32 megapixel selfie camera. So in terms of camera specifications, it looks like Samsung haven't held back for the A51. And the A71, just for reference, is also similarly well spec'd on the camera front. I think their main camera on the rear is 64 megapixels as opposed to the 48 megapixels on the A51 here. So other elements that we're talking about, it's an octa-core Exynos chipset, as well as 4 gigabytes of RAM and then 128 gigabytes worth of internal storage. Also, it has a 4,000 milliamp battery. So yeah, in terms of specifications, it looks like Samsung haven't held back, as we mentioned. So let's put the phone to the side for a moment and let's see what packaging we have. So if we have a look here, it looks like this is a cover for the phone. If we can actually open it up here. Yeah, so that looks like your stock standard plastic soft cover that you're likely going to want to use to cover your device with. Let's see how it fits in here. Yep, a nice snug fit. You're going to want to keep one of those on just to protect that back cover, as well as limit the amount of fingerprint smudges that get onto it. So, quick start guide, don't need that. Got your little pin to open up the SIM tray. Let's look here. Standard charger. So the cables we've got here. It looks like USB to Type C. Also a standard for most smartphones these days. And a pair of headphones. So as you can see, there's a little headphone jack there, and that will slot in right there at the bottom. So unlike some of the more premium flagship devices which have ditched the headphone jack, Samsung have opted not to do so on the A51, and that's a good decision in our books. In terms of pricing, the Galaxy A51 is recommended to start at 6,999 Rand. The A71, which, as you mentioned, has a slightly larger screen, a better main camera, more RAM at 6 gigabytes, and a larger battery at 4,500 milliamps. So there are a few elements where it's sporting better specs, and consequently you're going to pay a little extra. So the A71 is going to retail for 8,999 Rand. And as we mentioned, both devices are expected in early February, and we are suspecting from the 11th. So we've been lucky enough to be given this device to review. Our review should be up in roughly 2 weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, this is just an unboxing of the Galaxy A51. Hope you enjoy.